Paris Hilton. From Hollywood to the House of Representatives, Hilton grew up in the spotlight and has leveraged her celebrity into successful businesses and advocacy. Her congressional testimony helped pass a landmark bill to protect children from abuse. Now she's launching a skincare line, an upcoming true crime podcast, and an animated kids program, building on her diverse ventures, from a Netflix cooking show to producing commercials for the likes of Sonic and Crocs. She's also a best-selling author and the highest-paid female DJ. Paris Hilton is in the Changemakers spotlight.
So many different businesses.
Yes.
How do they all fit together?
You know, I just do things that I love and I'm passionate about. I love music, I love entertainment, I love making products, I love doing my impact work, I love to make people happy, and I just feel like my whole career is about I don't want to be put inside one box. I want to be able to do so many things, and I'm so lucky that I've been able to do everything that I love so much and be successful at it at the same time.
So what is your big picture ambition for 1111 Media? What is the big picture vision for the future of Paris Hilton?
Well, I want to build the next Disney. I think the way Bob Iger sees Disney is the way I see 1111 Media, where it really puts together commerce and community and built this whole ecosystem that involves everything from television, to videos, to audio, to products, to the metaverse and beyond.
Yeah, seeing all of these different things work together, and we're running some of the images behind you now. One of the things that's striking to me, thinking about how you're launching your 30th fragrance, is that your brand has really persisted. 30 fragrances over 20 decades. What that says to me is that you keep on appealing to fans, new fans, connecting with old fans. How have you thought about evolving and staying relevant?
Mm-hmm. Everything that I do is really authentic to me, and I really believe also just my relationship with my fans is, I feel so close with them, and being in this industry for so many years and traveling the world. Before I was a mom, I was for 2 decades on a plane over 250 days out of the year, traveling everywhere for all of my several businesses, and really connecting with people on a deep level. And especially since my documentary and my memoir, I've connected with people in such a meaningful way. And everything I do really is just very true to my brand.
It's been amazing watching you over the years be master of the media of each era. You were at the center of the tabloid age. You were have been a master of social media of 27 million followers on Instagram. When the metaverse was a thing, you created a world on Roblox and a Web3 platform. Now you're doing podcasting and streaming. It feels like you're wherever the media is, wherever people are consuming content. How do you stay on top of that technology?
Well, I've always been an undercover nerd. So I'm obsessed with technology, being ahead of the curve, and even with the metaverse, I was thinking about it before there was even a name for it. And yeah, I just feel that I really am ahead of my time. And I don't know if that's because I'm an Aquarius or with my ADHD, which I consider my superpower. But somehow I've always just been a couple steps ahead.
Tell me about how your ADHD is your superpower.
I feel like it really makes the creative inside of me, how I take risks, how I just can do so many things at once, have so many interests, so many just thoughts going through my mind every second. It's like hard to sleep at night because I'm constantly just thinking of new ideas. And you know, the bad part is I lose my phone a lot, my house
so
keys.
Do I.
But I really believe it is my superpower. Because, you know, as growing up, I think that as a teenager especially, people would think of it as a negative thing, and that's what you're always told. But I really wanted to reframe that and let others know that it can be their superpower too, and not hold them back, and they should just go for their dreams.
Yeah, an important thing, especially, and just to talk about it. Yes. You know, your brand is so prevalent around the world, and part of that is your legacy of being a Hilton. What did you learn about brand building from your great-grandfather, Conrad Hilton, who founded Hilton Hotels, and then his son, your grandfather, who helped build that empire. What about the brand building?
Well, my family really instilled a hard work ethic in myself, and also just about hospitality in the hotel business and treating everyone always with kindness. And it's just, business is something that really runs in my blood. And also, I always wanted to build something on my own. I didn't want to be known as the Hilton Hotel granddaughter. I wanted to be known as Paris. And something that my grandfather always used to say to me is, Paris, it's so funny, I used to be known as Baron Hilton, and now I'm known as Paris Hilton's grandpa. So that always made me really proud to hear. And I've always wanted to really prove myself as well.
So let's talk a little bit about that proving yourself. You're very driven. I listened to you narrate your audiobook, which I think is over 9 hours, and you talk about this drive first to get to $100 million and then to get to $1 billion and to really make sure you weren't beholden to your family. Where did that drive come from?
I think it really stems back to just being a teenager, and I was sent to these places called emotional growth boarding schools because I lived in Los Angeles before, and I lived a very sheltered life. Like, I wasn't allowed to go out, I wasn't allowed to go on dates. My parents were extremely strict, and then I moved to New York City, and it was this whole new world. I was sneaking out, getting bad grades, and then I got sent away to this boarding school, and my parents had no idea just how horrible these places were. And when I was in there, I just promised myself that I'm going to work so hard and become so successful that one day no one will ever be able to control me or tell me what to do. And I think that's something that really gave me that drive. And I always thought that, that success would just make me happy and never have to depend on anyone but myself.
And it's such a profound thing to hear you talk about that experience in your documentary, in your book, and it's very personal. What made you decide to talk about that traumatic experience, which is so different from your brand, which is all about, yes, authenticity, but also about happiness and love and joy? Why did you go there?
Well, the original premise of my documentary was, I just felt that for so long, no matter what I did in life, no matter how many things I'd accomplished, I just felt that I was always underestimated. And I really wanted to have a film and just show all of the incredible things that I had done in my career. And then within, about 6 months into shooting, and I became extremely close with the director, and I started to really trust her. And I just opened up to her about the schools that I went to. But I said, this is something when I got out of there, I promised myself I would never tell anyone about this because I didn't want this to be my story. And I just didn't even want to think about it because it was just too painful. And then she came to me the next day and said, Paris, I really think that you should open up about this because now that this has boomed into a multi-billion-dollar a year industry, they're making $28 billion a year. They've opened up thousands of these schools. There's over 150 to 200,000 children from the foster care system, from juvenile justice, children who are refugees, children from special education who are all being sent to these schools. And so many children are being abused and dying in these places, and nobody has talked about this. She's like, I really think that you have the power in your voice to really make a difference. And that's when I told my story, and it was so scary because the whole world had known me from the simple life and this character that I built. And I think even that character I built was a trauma response to what I went through. Just kind of, sorry, with the ADD, I think of like 50 things at once. But it made me, it just made me realize that I could use my voice to help make a difference for so many children. And now today we just passed our 12th state law to protect children. And it's just been, I'm so grateful to Alexander Dean, the director, for having me open up to her because it's been so life-changing to finally, drop that veil of that character and show people my true self and to really turn my pain into a purpose. And now I just passed my bill in December and the Stop Institutional Child Abuse Act that you mentioned before, and that's going to protect 13 million children. So turning my pain into a purpose has been the most healing experience of my life.
It's amazing. It's so powerful to hear you open up about creating a character and having played a character. You talk in your book about a baby voice and a Stepford smile. And I think about my experience, and I bet there isn't a woman in this room who hasn't at some point adopted a persona or created a character to survive or succeed in an uncomfortable situation. Yeah. And I want to go back to why you created that character. You said it was partially trauma response. You were also being chased by the paparazzi. Why did you start creating this character?
I think just when I was at that school, I just kind of wanted to build this kind of fantasy world so I didn't have to think about what I was going through. And then getting out of there, I was so traumatized by everything. I kind of just almost played into that character. And also I think with the media, it was a way where I wouldn't have to ever really open up. It was just like, oh yeah, that's hot, and loves it. And I would say only a few words. So I think it was just a protection, like a shield or a mask, just to protect myself. And then all of a sudden I get offered the simple life, and the producers tell me, okay, Nicole, you're gonna be the troublemaker. Paris, you're gonna be, dumb, blonde. We want to see kind of this rich, airhead. So you play that character. I was like, okay. This was the first reality show, the world had ever seen. So I had no idea what I was getting myself into, or that I would have to continue on that character for 5 seasons. So I think that's how the whole world just assumed I was, and then when I get shy, my voice will go up a little bit, but my real voice is like this, it's lower.
We like hearing your real voice, and I think it was a radical and really empowered decision to talk about having played a character for decades. And I think in telling the world that it was your creation, it also says that when the media was treating you terribly, by creating that character, you were also in control. Yeah. Why decide to be so transparent about that? Why talk about it now?
I just feel that I feel ready now to just be myself. I'm so proud of the woman I am and what I've been through, what I've survived. And now with my incredible husband and my 2 beautiful babies, I'm so happy, and I love now that I can use my voice to make a difference and uplift women and just be who I was always meant to be.
And do you find yourself still playing the character, or has the character gotten closer to who you are?
I think because I played it for so long, it'll always be a part of me, but I feel like that's kind of the silly part of me. So sometimes when I'm doing different, products or brand deals or things like that, they'll want me to play the character, so I'll play into it and do it. It's always just fun, because I'm just always serious. It's kind of boring to always be serious.
What do you think is the power in this authenticity?
For others to feel safe, to be able to tell their stories. And I've noticed that, especially after my memoir, just thousands of people writing me letters, people coming up to me on the streets, and just how they have been through the same situations and have been through really difficult and painful experiences in their life. And people were always even too scared to talk about it themselves. But by me telling my story, it made people feel safe to tell their stories. And by me doing that, it heals others, and then others heal me. And I think it's kind of something that can spread around the world, where people can feel safe to talk about what they went through, and also hold people accountable, people who have hurt them.
Your advocacy work has accomplished so much, and it's so diverse. We talked about raising money to give to female-founded businesses impacted by the fires. You've volunteered at animal shelters. You have a great love for animals and the troubled teen industry. There's so many different things that you are working on. What do you want your legacy to be?
I want my legacy to be that I came and brought some sparkle to the world, that I used my voice to make a difference for others, that I was always kind and loving, and who knows, one day I might be announcing that I'm launching my own hotel brand around the world.
I would believe it. A final question. You mentioned sometimes people underestimate you.
Yes.
I hope less so now. How does it make you feel when people underestimate you?
I've always loved proving people wrong. So now that I get to do that all the time, it's an amazing feeling. And I was just also doing like a press tour for my new single that just came out on my album, and so many of, especially the male like reporters and people said, "I'm so sorry. Like, your first album was so incredible, and I was not nice about you in the 2000s, and now looking at you, I just feel so bad." So I just want to personally say I apologize for myself and for all the men who are ever mean or rude to you or hurt your feelings. And so many of them said that day, and they didn't even know each other. And I was like, wow, this is like really cool to hear this. I never thought I would hear that from these guys, but I am. So it's been, I've never felt happier. I just feel so grateful, and I love you so much, and I'm so grateful for everything you said to me, and I feel so safe up here. I'm so shy, so I'm so nervous, but you make me feel safe. And everyone in this room, I'm so grateful to all the incredible women in here, and I'm just so blown away by everyone, and thank you.
You are a force that should not be underestimated. Thank you so much for joining us here.